It's happening, folks. Right now, Iran has launched missiles at Israel. U.S. cities are on fire from New York to Minneapolis. And the man the media mocked, the man that the left tried to silence, President Donald J. Trump, he warned us all. But they didn't listen. The Democrats didn't listen. The United Nations didn't listen. And now we're standing on the edge of something far bigger than anyone's ready for. So today might be the last hot night that Israel faces alone, because war is here, guys. And at home, the same cities that ignored Trump's warnings are now burning in coordinated chaos, sparked by radical protests, funded by billionaires, and now soaked in real blood. So in today's video, we're going to be pulling it all together, guys. The Iranian missile strikes, the shocking political assassination in Minnesota, the No Kings riots spinning out of control, and the one man who warned us months ago, at least months ago when you think about it, exactly how this would go down. Now, this isn't just about politics anymore, guys. This is about survival. And if you think that this ends with Israel or with one protest, oh, you're dead wrong, guys. So stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how Iran's war connects directly to violence in U.S. cities, who's really pulling the strings behind these riots, and what Trump's next move could be, because make no mistake, he is not sitting still. By the way, if you appreciate the daily news updates, please hit the like button and subscribe. Let's start where the world is focused right now, the skies over Israel. Because Iran just made it official. The war is no longer proxy-based, if you understand what I mean. It's direct, it's brutal, and it's only just begun. Massive waves of Iranian ballistic missiles were launched overnight, targeting Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and multiple IDF installations in North Israel. Now, according to some early estimates, over 140 projectiles lit up the skies, some intercepted and some hitting their mark. Now, the Israeli Iron Dome system, though effective, was overwhelmed in certain regions, allowing strikes to land in densely populated areas. Unfortunately, there have been civilian casualties, homes flattened, hospitals overwhelmed. Israeli defense services and sources confirmed that at least 10 civilians were unalived in one of the worst barrages since October 7th attacks. Now, here's where it gets even more chilling. Military analysts now confirm that Iran's missile range is evolving. If left unchecked, they could soon reach Western cities. Yes, even New York or Miami in a matter of months. You heard that right, guys. This isn't just about Israel anymore. This is about whether America will wake up before it's too late or not. So, what did Israel do? Well, they didn't wait. They didn't hold a press conference. They struck back. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he authorized immediate counterstrikes against Iranian military installations and suspected nuclear infrastructure. Now, guys, within a matter of hours, Israel fighter jets had achieved what officials are calling full air superiority over Tehran. That's right, over the Iranian capital. Israeli planes penetrated deep into Iranian airspace, striking key targets believed to be tied to the Revolutionary Guard, uranium enrichment facilities, and even their communication hubs in western Iran. So, no more middleman, no more Hezbollah, no more Hamas. This is nation-to-nation warfare, folks. And Netanyahu isn't sugarcoating it. He told Israeli citizens, and I will quote him on this one, "We will strike every site and every target of Ayatollah's regime." He's not playing, guys. The goal is now crystal clear. Topple the Iranian regime, destroy its nuclear capacity, and do it before another city burns. Now, here's what the legacy media will not show you. While Iran's launches missiles and Israel responses with force, there is something that is here at home that may be just as dangerous. Democrat-run cities are now burning in protest-fueled riots. You may have heard some details, but I'm going to fill you in on what they're not telling you. A lawmaker assassinated in Minnesota, and a deep state funding network may be pulling the strings behind this curtain here, guys. So stick with me, because I want to break down how these radical protests turned deadly, and why the Biden-era machine may have actually helped lay the groundwork, all while President Trump saw it coming miles away. Now, if you're like most folks on Medicare, your bills feel like they're growing faster than your benefits, the premiums, the co-pays, the fine print, right? It's enough to make you just kind of want to give up and just overpay. But this is exactly why Chapter exists. Guys, Julie from Texas, she trusted a local broker who sold her a plan that cost her way more just to see her own doctor. After calling Chapter, she found out that she's been misled, and they helped her switch to a better plan that now saves her $400 a year. And then, of course, there's Cecil Firth. Specifically Cecil Firth Sr., who actually said this. He said, Ron, I'm saving $166 a month when all you have is Social Security. This is a sweet raise. Thanks, Buck. So guys, Chapter checks every single plan available in your zip code, not just a few. They don't work for insurance companies, they work for you. And that's the awesome thing. Oh, and they're totally free, by the way. Like, how do you beat that, right? Give our friends at Chapter a call. Phone number is 909-563-8279, or better yet, hit them up on their website right now at askchapter.org/Ron. See how much money you can save. Hey guys, Medicare does not have to break your budget. Not when you got someone who knows how to shrink the bill. Now guys, while missiles were flying over the Middle East, the streets of America are being set on fire by the far left. Coordinated No Kings protests erupted in all 50 states this weekend, except for one. Washington, D.C. Now, ironically, where Trump's military parade rolled through, remained untouched. In New York, Portland, Minneapolis, and Chicago, businesses were looted, cars were set ablaze, and federal buildings tagged with extremist slogans. In Los Angeles, legacy media tried to blame the destruction on residual wildfire impact, but leaked police footage and citizen videos proved that it wasn't nature. This was organized violence yet again. So think about the psychology and the psychological warfare of that narrative. When radical mobs light your city on fire, they blame the climate. Can you believe this? They're blaming the climate for that? This is gaslighting 101 on a national scale. So here's the kicker, guys. The protests weren't even about war or Israel. They were about President Trump, about stopping his second term, about rejecting authoritarianism. Meanwhile, literally firebombing cities in the name of democracy. Like, that's not activism. This is domestic insurrection. Oh, and if you thought that it couldn't get any darker, unfortunately it did. On Saturday morning, Minnesota Democrat lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband were found dead in their car. Can you believe this? Their killer? Not some fringe lunatic from the internet. It was Vance Balter, a sitting member of Governor Tim Walz's own Workforce Development Board. You heard that right, guys. A man personally appointed as by a sitting Democrat governor turned assassin. Now, inside his fake police car, investigators reported a loaded weapon, cash, riot flyers linked to the No Kings protest, and a handwritten manifesto with over 70 names of elected official targets. Guys, law enforcement sources say that his plan was far from over. In fact, crickets from the left after this news broke. The same people who spent 4 years crying about insurrection, they have nothing to say when it's one of their own turning violent. Wow, the hypocrisy, right? The double standards. So when a movement gets so radicalized that even their own lawmakers are afraid to vote their conscience, that's not a party. This is clearly a cult. Is anyone else feeling me on this one? And here's the most disturbing part here, guys. This didn't happen in a vacuum. Somebody is bankrolling this thing. So of course, we're going to connect the dots. A billionaire with deep ties to communist China, radical networks operating under U.S. legal protection, and of course, the official investigations now underway. Guys, stick with me because we're just scratching the surface here. President Trump predicted this collapse, and the names you're about to hear may shock you. So who's paying for the matches that lit America's cities on fire? I mean, it's not just some random angry activists out there, guys. These No Kings protests weren't organic. They were professionally coordinated, strategically timed, and suspiciously well funded. According to Oversight Chair James Comer, there's a formal investigation now underway into a man by the name of Neville Roy Singham. Sound familiar? Well, he should. He's a tech billionaire who is a consultant who once ran an IT firm called ThoughtWorks and sold it for nearly $800 million. He didn't retire to the Bahamas. He actually moved to the mainland communist China, of all places. Can you imagine, out of all the places you might want to move to after selling your company for $800 million, you moved to communist China, to the CCP? Think about that, guys. A U.S. national who made his money in capitalism, is now allegedly funding far-left revolutions inside America from Beijing. So Comer's probe is zeroing in on links between Singham and extremist protest networks accused of using foreign-funded shell orgs to stir domestic unrest, all while disguising themselves in MAGA gear, as Representative Anna Paulina Luna warned. Now, if this is true, this is foreign interference far more dangerous than a meme page in 2016. And the question becomes this: how deep does this go? And who else knew about it, right? Well, one man definitely knew: President Donald J. Trump. Let's rewind just 10 days ago, shall we? So President Trump posted on Truth Social, "It will get worse." A simple warning, ignored, mocked, dismissed as usual. He's been saying this for years, that Iran is actively working toward a nuclear weapon, that the UN is hopelessly compromised, siding with terrorists like Hamas, that Democrat-led cities are powder kegs built on media lies and globalist funding. Remember when he called out Minneapolis as a war zone, or warned that Biden's Iran deal would come back to haunt us? Well, guess what, guys? It all came true. And now, the man who told us what was coming is the one that's standing between the United States and a total collapse. Now, coming up, guys, I want to talk to you guys about President Trump's controversial military parade, his real-time response to the Iran-Israel war, and what he's doing right now to keep America from getting dragged into another endless disaster. So while chaos was erupting in Democrat cities, while missiles were raining down on Israeli civilians, Trump marched. On the very same weekend that the left lit up the nation in protest, President Trump held a full-scale military parade in Washington, D.C. And just hours before it began, he posted on Truth Social. He said, "Rain or shine, we march." He added, "A rainy day parade brings good luck." Critics called it tone deaf. MSNBC melted down. Legacy media said that it was a dictator energy. But here's the thing. The parade wasn't about optics. It was about discipline. It was about strength. It was about sending a message to every bad actor on earth. America is not leaderless anymore. The contrast couldn't have been any clearer. DC, calm, proud, unified. Democrat-run cities on fire, bleeding in denial. President Trump, he didn't need to say it. He showed it. But Trump wasn't just waving flags. He's taking action. You see, since the first Iranian missiles were launched, President Trump has convened multiple National Security Council emergency briefings. He's ordered heightened readiness at all U.S. military bases in the region. He's dispatched top-level defense officials to coordinate directly with Israel. He's approved expanded cyber defense operations amid Iranian digital threats. And most importantly, he reaffirmed his red line. Iran will never obtain a nuclear weapon, not on my watch. That's not a talking point, guys. That is a promise. So behind closed doors, Trump's team is working around the clock with Israeli intelligence and regional allies. The goal: contain the war, prevent escalation, defend U.S. assets. But make no mistake, if Iran crosses a certain line, if they even think about striking U.S. military personnel or soil, this president will respond with force. And unlike the last administration, they believe him. So the question is, will Iran push us into the fight? Will these radical movements turn into something bigger? Now, of course, we need to talk about whether or not Iran could strike the United States directly, what the FBI is seeing inside of our own cities, and this growing fear that this isn't just war abroad, it's a civil war energy right here at home, guys. So here's what the mainstream media will not tell you. The next missile may not be aimed at Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. It could be aimed at a U.S. base in the Middle East, or even something much worse. Now, according to defense officials and intelligence sources, Iran's next move could be a coordinated cyber attack on U.S. infrastructure, a strike against a U.S. Navy vessel in the Persian Gulf, or even activating sleeper cells that are already inside of our borders in our country, guys. Now, that last one, it's not just speculation. If the FBI and DHS are actively monitoring suspicious activity in several major cities as we speak right now, and in private briefings, senior law enforcement have already warned this is the most serious multi-front threat that we face in over 2 decades. Now, think about that. While the left is playing word games and lectures about equity, we may already be infiltrated, vulnerable, and off guard. And so I want you to ask yourself something. What happens when you mix foreign war, economic strength, and domestic ideology radicalization? You get exactly what you're seeing right now. You get Democrat cities burning from within, elected officials scared of their own voters, radicalized foot soldiers turning into assassins, and a sitting president being blamed for stopping the fire instead of starting it. So the truth is, we're not just divided politically. We're living in two Americas if you think about it. And so you have, like, when you've got one side calling for military parades and peace through strength, and then the other side is like literally burning their own cities down in protest, that's not disagreement. This is open rebellion. So it might not be a civil war in the traditional sense, but ideologically, we are already in one. And the United Nations, they're silent. They condemn Israel for defending itself, but they say nothing as American cities fall apart from within. That silence, it says everything. So now we're left with this. Iran is on fire, American cities are smoldering, and the only man who said that this would happen is back in charge. So let me ask you, did we listen when he warned us, or did we just laugh it off until it was too late, right? Well, let me know in the comments down below, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. Do you support President Trump's full backing of Israel? Should he go further if Iran escalates? And are these protests really about democracy or something darker? Because one thing is now crystal clear. Trump, he saw this thing coming. And the only question left is, do we have the guts to finish what's already begun? Now, if you found this information, this breakdown helpful, important, I want you to share it. I want you to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and share the word, because the mainstream media will not touch this. I'm going to be back very shortly with more updates as this story continues to unfold. Until then, Patriots, we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.